We're Max and Oksana, and over the last 7 years, we've traveled full-time, exploring more than 80 countries all around the world. When the pandemic grounded our international travels, we moved into our self-converted Sprinter camper van in Canada and have been exploring our backyard ever since. Subscribe to our channel and join us every Sunday as we share our van life adventures all around Canada. Hello and welcome to another episode of Drink Tea and Travel TV. Today is going to be a bit of a different episode because we find ourselves in a very unique place. So we have driven about 5 hours north of Vancouver in British Columbia, Canada, and we have come to a tiny home, which you can see right behind me. So we are just waiting for Robert, the owner and the builder of this beautiful tiny home, to come and join us and give us the tour of the property. Robert, thank you so much for having us here. We are so excited to stay at the tiny house. Tell us a bit more about this beautiful space. So we obviously saw pictures on your Airbnb listing, but being here in real life and in person, it seems even better. So how did this all come about? How long have you had it? Tell us the backstory.
Yeah, great. Well, first of all, welcome to Esk'et. It's so awesome to have both of you here. It's really exciting. And so the tiny house, we started the tiny house build and we were really wondering, how are we gonna get this look? We did a sketch and a drawing, and so when it finally came time to putting it together, this was the vision that we had, and the bare door was very important. Originally I wanted a round door, but it was really difficult trying to get that shape with all the structural parts beside. Right. So it turned out to be a barrel-shaped door, and the black bear with the salmon swimming up the river. It's very special to this area. Just over here behind the mountains is the Fraser River, so the salmon is a part of our culture and a part of our people. So this structure is actually called Esk'etemc, which in Esk'etemc that means salmon. So represents swimming against all odds, and so that's what it was like for us when we started building. And it's built on a 20-foot trailer and 280 square feet inside, and it's under 10,000 pounds, so you can pull it with a truck. Wow. Right now it's skirted, so it can withstand the winters. It does get pretty cold here. Yeah. So that's kind of the look that we went with the siding and the round door, and yeah, it's a very cool, cozy place. It's kind of hard to see, but that shape is actually the shape of a salmon. Oh. So when you see on the front the salmon carvings that are right there, so that's kind of the story behind that. Originally, when we were building the roof, it was really difficult because all the plywood, everything that was coming together, we had to bend it into place. And I was trying to figure out the hip and the jack rafters, everything that was coming together. It felt like it was too hard. And I felt like I put all my eggs in one basket, and I'm like, what am I doing building this tiny house? And I was really struggling. I was about to just do a simple gable and ready to give up. And an elder through this field, he was walking, and he saw me, and he didn't see what I was going to make, but he just saw that I was doing something. He climbed through the barbed wire fence, and he came up to me and he said, "Robert, I'm so proud of you." And he had no idea that really gave me strength to kind of move past. And from that, the skeleton kept on swimming and just kind of came out to be. So the roof is kind of birthed through working through that. And I think it's really important for the feel of it, the shape of it, and the story of it.
Okay, you've got my interest peaked. Let's go inside.
All right.
Okay. So when I first walked in, I did not expect it to look clean and modern and so beautifully designed. You kind of look at it from the outside, you're like, oh, it's going to be a wooden log cabin kind of feel. And you come inside, you're like, whoa, this is a modern house. So tell me a bit about the layout. Love the kitchen, love the look of the counter. How did this all come about?
With this design, how can we get it where it feels big and comfortable? So where we're standing here in the kitchen, if you look up above, the roof is vaulted right here and the lofts are on the end. So where you do the most standing is in the kitchen. So when you're standing, you don't have anything right directly over your head, so you kind of feel like you have that space.
Yeah.
In the living room, this is where you sit, so it's okay to feel cozy. And so the bathroom's underneath the second loft, and it just all works out with how that feels. And the second loft has a vaulted area, which is a different feel from the curved area up there. One of the things for the space, we wanted to actually have it like feel bigger than it is. So part of tricking your eye, or part of what makes that feel for that space, is having windows where you can see through this side and you can see through this side and see here and see here, and that makes it feel like the space is bigger.
Yeah.
And then also with the spiraling ladder, we wanted to have open runs, so it didn't feel like it was it didn't feel like it was a space that was kind of broken up. You can kind of see straight through. This was actually one of these trial and error designs, and I thought I would be like Thomas Edison, where I'd throw out 100 of these things and then finally get one, but one shot and we got it. So this is this cool looking ladder.
It moves.
Yeah, it slides. So yeah. So it's kind of one of these things where I always wanted to do the, like slide on it, but
very cool. And so in the kitchen, obviously this looks like a custom piece.
Yeah.
That was at least shaped custom.
Yeah, we wanted to give it kind of like a live edge feel.
Yeah.
So it was an oak slab. Typically kitchens are like 26 inches deep.
Yeah.
And the cabinets are 24. We actually made it smaller because we felt like we'd be losing space.
So how wide is this counter?
This part is about 24 inches, and the cabinets are like 20.
Okay.
So we lost about just over 2 inches.
So did you actually cut the cabinets at the back?
Yeah. And you know what's funny though? If this was out 2 inches more, like a traditional cabinet width, I don't think it would have made the space smaller. So it was just something that we tried. But you know what? There is the space. It is what it is. It doesn't feel like you're actually losing cabinet space.
No, there's tons of space for storage here, right?
But also by reducing it, we were able to kind of give it a tiny little, I don't even think you'd call that a peninsula. That'd be more like a bump.
Yeah.
But at least you can still sit at the end and have like a nice, Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's cozy. So when you're there with another person, it kind of, that's the beauty about tiny houses. It's like,
brings you together.
Yeah, brings you together.
Tell me a bit about the plumbing. I love this faucet. Very sort of farmhousey. And the sink, how does that all hook up? How does it all work? Obviously there's a big propane heater here. Tell me a bit of the technical side, because I know everyone's interested.
Yeah.
For us, it was one of the more difficult things to do when we did the build in our van, but obviously it's a bit different in a house.
So with the plumbing, it's always, I think, an interesting thing with tiny houses. Where is your water going to come from? Are you going to do a septic system or a composting toilet, solar, power? With this place, because we wanted to have it a place where people can come and visit, I thought, okay, well, we'll just hook it up to my mom and dad's place and share the same, so it's sharing the same well.
Yeah.
The power is being shared, and we did a septic system so that when people come, they don't have to look at a composting toilet and be like, how do I use this? Like, so that was one of the things that we decided to do. So the water, I dug a trench and drilled a hole through the foundation and brought the water underground and popped it up. So that's where the water comes from.
And you've got a pump, obviously, that pumps it all up.
Yeah.
And do you have a filtration system, or it just comes straight from the well?
It comes straight from the well. So the water is quite hard in this area. It has lots of different minerals. So one of the things is every time, every weekend, I have to take off the shower head and like dump out all the stuff that comes from the water.
The calcium.
Yeah, because otherwise, like before I didn't know that, the shower would be on and be like drip, 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 right? And just like, but other than that, it's great. This is an on-demand heater, so that was a decision. So we didn't have to store a big hot water tank.
Yeah. So
having a on-demand heater is just great. When you want hot water, you turn it on, and you get hot water when you turn it off. So it's somewhat energy efficient, that you're not having to use electricity all the time to keep the water hot.
Yeah.
So that was something that we decided to do with for getting hot water, is the on-demand heater.
Okay. Very good. And what happens with the grey water? You said the septic system, so that's both for the toilet and for the sink.
Yeah, so we just dug a septic field, 3 lines and a tank, and hooked everything up. And
you don't have to worry about it, then just goes and nature does its thing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Very cool. Okay, let's move on to the bathroom.
We found this door. We try to get a lot of our materials from used places, and this door I thought it was just awesome, but I was a little bit concerned. Like, we wanted something that brought in light, but like, you can't see me behind here.
Nope.
So so that was one of the things. I was like, like, is this so transparent? But it's not.
Yeah.
It's perfect. So it lets in some light. And the bathroom is about 40 inches wide, and the length. So we got the toilet in the corner, sweet mirror with storage in behind, a little pull-out hidden
that's cool.
cubby where you can put away your...
Yeah.
What's back? So we got a hair dryer and all the cleaning stuff.
All the cleaning supplies and the shampoos and whatnot.
Yeah, and toilet paper.
Extra toilet paper.
So that's always handy. I actually wanted to make the shower bigger, but I felt like I needed this space. So I think if I was to change it, if I was to change the shower, I probably would make it bigger, because I thought it would be in the way of the sink. But it actually, I think you could have a bigger shower, because like, I feel like I'm not a big person, and I've tried bending over in the shower in here, and it's a little bit, I don't know if you know what I mean. I think the best way to bend is actually through the shower curtain, but it is actually kind of small, so I would have made it bigger. But you know what, if you think about a shower, what do you really need? Just to get clean, right?
Yeah, really.
We also put in an air exchange unit, because tiny houses are small, and we're thinking, we don't want air to be trapped in this place, so just flicking it on, what it does is it circulates the air that's up above and brings in fresh air from outside. So that's kind of something that we put in this tiny house.
Yeah, awesome.
The living room space here, kind of like the whole feel of it's kind of a cool space, because we have the barrel door, and then we have this door. It's kind of nice because you can it has this loopy feel, and I think the loopy feel is nice, because you never feel like you're just kind of backing yourself into a corner, and it just has this nice freedom to kind of go in a circle. So I appreciate having this second door. And the window, I have some friends that they love life, and they kind of said, "Hey, Robert, don't do a small window," because I was going to have a small window. Said, "Do a huge window," and I kind of felt like self-conscious, like a huge window. Everybody can see me, even sitting. But you know what? Like, only the horses will see you. So, and anyway, we did this big window, and awesome because you literally feel like you're also part of outside in this space.
Yeah.
And having the fireplace has a nice ambiance and a heat and a warmth, so when the winters come, it just feels really great. So I'm still really in love with this place. It's just a really great space, and just a little couch kind of fits here. This AC is new. We had like record heat this summer.
Okay.
And so we decided to put that AC unit in, and that's been really great. I could imagine if you're really tall, like I guess 6 feet, you can still fit under here because it's like door height,
I'm 5'10",
right?
and there's tons of room.
Yeah.
Even if I go on my tippy toes, so
yeah,
it doesn't feel squishy at all, even for me, who's a lot taller than the average person.
Yeah. So that was kind of like the height. How we set the height was typical doors 80 inches.
Yeah.
So the loft is just going to be right above that height.
Yeah.
Because if we went higher, then we lose the headspace for the loft. Because in BC to travel, like trailers have to be 13 feet, 7 inches and 3/8 if you convert the meters. That's the height. So we built this tiny house to be the max height so that we could get the most headroom in the loft space.
Okay, let's go see the top.
All right. Right.
Loft number 1?
Yeah, loft number 1. So this is the main sleeping area, and so from below we had those beams, and then up here it's curved.
Yeah.
Rather than a shed style where it tapers down and then goes high, where you're sitting or sleeping on the bed, doesn't matter where you are here, this height is always the same, so it gives you that feel like you're not having to duck down.
Right.
And how we were able to do that was I just ripped down some LVLs and I put it on a curve, and an R value for like say you have a 2x6 wall, like R22. But what we did was we used closed cell foam, so when we sprayed it, we're able to get the same R value as a 2x6, but we were able to reduce the thickness. So what that did was it gave us the headroom, but because we were able to bend the plywood, it gave it that structural strength, so you could have a lot of snow on this and it wouldn't cave in. So that's kind of how this shape came to be. So it adds to the feeling, and this is just a little touch of community art. One of our friends did these cards, and it's really special. And
beautiful.
Yeah. So when you look in this corner here, on the outside, that's the part where you see the salmon.
Okay.
But it's kind of like an additional storage space. The bed is a queen size bed, and I don't know how I would get a king up here, but honestly, a queen, it's enough space, right? So it's great, and it fits like 8 feet wide this way, and so when you're here, you have this window where you can kind of look out into the forest and
look for bears.
Yeah, yep, definitely. I hope we see a bear soon. Well, maybe not really close, but yeah, the horses are usually down there, and it's kind of special. All this is actually plywood.
Okay.
So it's kind of all bent in place, and we just caulked the joints and painted it and made everything white. And the idea for that is every time on a wall, if you have wall paint and then a ceiling paint, in a tiny house, by doing it 2 different colors, it makes you feel like the space is coming down because it's telling you where the roof is.
Okay.
But by doing the wall white with the ceiling, it just has that flow.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the idea of making you feel like you're in a bigger space. So that's a lot of information, but anyway, that's kind of why it's like really
very white and clean.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The left-handed ladder, just move it into place. And here we go. All right, so this is the second loft. And so I think we mentioned like the other side is kind of barrel shaped. This space is a typical gable space. So the highest point is right at the peak, and you kind of have like this little bit of a wiggle space. We did an intersecting gable here, like a dormer space, and I feel like this is actually a really well needed part of this loft. But having the two round windows on end to end just gives it this nice feel where you can see out from the back, you could look out from the side. And the bed size up here is double, so it's not a queen, but I'm pretty sure queen could fit up here. But making this bed is a little bit difficult because you really gotta, oh man, I don't know if you like making beds, but if you do, this would be a bed to make because you really got to get in there. This space is also pretty cozy, and I like being up here as well. Again, plywood finish and spray foam insulation inside there to give it that nice R value in that space. And yeah, so that's that space. And so I'm sitting right up above the bathroom. So the bathroom is right below. And then I did 2-foot overhang. So this space right here, right below, is actually outside.
Right.
So this is overhanging. It's all insulated, of course, but I did that so that I wouldn't have the loft take up more inside space. So the loft is actually kind of having an overhang. And I did that on both sides, actually. And what that does is it gives more loft space, but doesn't take up too much vaulted space down below. So that was kind of the idea. And I think it looks really cool.
It does.
Yeah. All right, so I got my shoes. There we go. Oh, yeah. All right, beautiful.
All right, so let's go see what you've got outside, because it sort of looks like an extension of the house out there.
Okay. So this is the back of the second door, and so you can see the shape of the skeleton, the salmon, and that's the shape.
And that's that extra nook for storage space.
Yeah,
We saw up in the loft.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a nice little detail, and I'm really happy how it turned out. And originally we just had a log where people came out and stepped onto it, and this we just added in the last little bit, and it's just kind of nice to actually have somewhere to stand on.
Yep.
And up here's the hot tub.
Nice addition to a tiny house. Not every tiny house comes with a hot tub, so this is awesome.
Yeah, it makes winters very cozy. When it's really cold, I don't know if you've ever been in a hot tub when it's like freezing.
We have.
Yeah, isn't it?
It's amazing.
Yeah, so that's kind of the feel of this hot tub, and just being able to look down the valley. So down there is my community where I grew up and where I live, and so it's really special. And you kind of get a nice panoramic view of the mountainside, and when the hot tub's not humming, you can hear the water just the falls. It's like shh. It's a pretty cool space.
So back to where we started.
Yeah.
Beautiful house. So obviously we have just touched on the bare minimum of the overview of the house and little details of the build. Is there more information that people can find online about how this all came about?
Yeah, we did some videos on YouTube on the process of building this.
Okay.
So that was actually fun. At the same time, building and filming, it was something that I hadn't done before. So yeah, that was pretty fun. Yeah, so we have this for people to come, and part of the reason geographically we are in the Secwepemc territory, the traditional territory, the Shuswap in English, and so we are the Esk'etemc people, and so this is our home, and this is where people can come and visit. So it's kind of a place where there's a bridge where if you want to get away, you can come. It's close to the community. There's lots of traditional knowledge. We have awesome friends that love to share their stories, and that's kind of what it's all about. So we're southwest from Williams Lake area. So yeah, so it's a nice area. I really like it.
Suppose it's a new up and coming area for people from BC to come and visit. That's kind of getting a boost in travel this year, at least. Hopefully it stays.
Mm-hmm.
And so the community you pointed is just that way, and it's just a short walk away. So if somebody wants to come and stay at the tiny house, how do they go about finding you guys?
They could book on either Airbnb or on our website,
Okay.
or a simple call, or and off they come.
And you guys are available all year round for bookings all year round?
Yeah, all year round, and we thought because of how cold it is that would be the slowest, and it's actually quite busy, and
Really?
I think it's the nicest part of the year.
It's the hot tub.
Yeah,
Getting people with the hot tub. Everyone wants to sit in the hot tub in the middle of winter and just enjoy the outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So we'll include a bunch of links in the description, links to the videos where you can see the building of the tiny house, links to the tiny house website where you can make a booking, as well as the Airbnb listing, so that it can be easily done through Airbnb. And then any questions, of course, Robert, I'm sure will be happy to answer them in the comments. So leave your questions in the comments. And thank you so much, Robert, for having us, for taking the time to take us on a tour of this beautiful property. And we can't wait to spend the night here.
Thank you. Wonderful to have you guys here as well.
Thanks.